All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Good morning, traders. So we'll be starting right away. Welcome to today's live section. This is the first live section for this channel. You are welcome. Thank you for joining the Smart Candles for this live section today. So very quickly, we'll be looking at price action for this week. I will be starting with Bitcoin. So we'll be looking at BTC USDT first. So that will be the first pair I'll be looking at for this week. So let's look at that now. I believe I'm loud and audible. Okay. Okay. Um, please don't forget to join our YouTube channel. Our free Telegram group is right below on the pinned comment section. So let's look at BTC from the weekly time frame first before we go down to the daily 4 hours. So looking at BTC from the weekly time frame, you can see that what BTC has been very bullish. This has been very bullish. So let's look at the immediate price action. If you look at here, we had a break of structure to the upside. Then we had another word break of structure to upside here. We have another break to the upside at this point. Now let's go down to daily so we'll get a more clear price action on the daily time frame. So looking at the daily time frame on BTC, looking at the daily time frame on BTC, what can we see? We can still see that what the price is still what bullish. So what are we going to look at? We're going to look at this range here. This is our trading range. This is our trading range down to this point. So we are looking at what the last low and the last high. So that will be our trading range. So we'll now go down to what 4 hours. We look at what is happening on the 4 hours, then the 1 hour time frame to get our trading, our trade entry. So looking at 4 hours, we still have the same structure to the upside. So let's go to 1 hour to get a more clear view, a more clear view on the immediate price action and possible trade what entry we should be looking at for this week. So if I should put this chart together, you will see the clear price action better. So if you look at what was happening on BTC from this high, notice there was what a change of character at this point, and what market tapped into this first order block here. That was what led to what push we had all the way to the upside here. Market still came back again for the second time. But there was no momentum in the market to actually what push the price what higher. There was no momentum to actually push this price what higher. So what did you have? You have another what failed zone at this point where we had this change of character. After having this change of character, market came back into what this supply here. Market came back into that supply, which led to what the price crashing down all the way to this point. This was taken out. After price took that point out, we are still expecting maybe market coming back to this supply before what continue to the downside. Because if you look at the price action at this point, look at the clear price action. Let me zoom out the chart so you can see it better. Look at the clear price action here. You see we have this change. That was the last low at this point. This was the last low here, and what? Sorry, that was the last high, and this was the last low at this point here. This was the last low, and what happened? We had this change of character to the upside. We had this change of character to the upside. Market came back into what? This demand zone that caused that change of character. That was the zone. Now, what if you look at this point, you see there's a fair value gap, and we had all of this liquidity validating that order block. We had all of this liquidity here, which was what taken out. This was taken out, and market came into this zone. What started continuing to the upside. So BTC turned from what a bearish trend into what a bullish trend again. So what are we expecting? We noticed this was the last high we had. This was the last high. This high was transferred to this because what this wasn't able to break it. So we had what this week. So this high was transferred to this. So which made us what have the break of structure at this point. That's how we had our break of structure to the upside, giving us what this as our next order block. So that was our next order block. Now, what do you want to see? We have this strong momentum here. We have what our fair value gap at this point. This is our fair value gap. And we have our liquidity resting all below this point. This is our liquidity pool. So we want to see what market what correction coming down to this point. But what happened? Market never returned back to this point, and it kept on what breaking to what to the upside. Market kept on breaking to the upside, and if looking at the current price of BTC, you see the what we already have what this explosion to the upside. Meaning what we've already missed out on this point. So what is the next possible scenario we have to look at for? Because we have to be very, 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 very careful this particular setup. So looking at BTC, we have what two zones we'll be looking at for the market to come back into. This is the first zone we want to see. Why are we picking this zone? At this zone, we have what our break of structure to the upside. We have our break of structure to the upside at this point. What you also notice, we also have another what break of structure at this particular zone here. Then what you have your inducement here. Yeah, you have your inducement there because what a lot of traders will want to trade from this particular zone. So we have an inducement there. We have this what nice imbalance line at this point, which makes what this first zone to be more what valid. But in case this first zone should fail, in case this first one should fail, then we'll be looking at the second one. So what we'll be looking for is what we'll be using entry confirmation. So on 15 minutes, we want to get a confirmation of what entry, something like this, market breaking above the last high, coming back to give us what a confirmation, then we'll ride the trend to the upside. So basically, this is what we'll be waiting for on what BTC USDT. So offering across. For now, we don't have any entry till what market comes back into the zone. So do well to join the Telegram group because that's where I will always what drop the signals. Once we get confirmation on this particular setup, I will do well to share it with the community. So do well to check the comment section and join the free Telegram group. You're not paying for it. It's a free Telegram group. So that's how we drop our free uh market buyers slash setups so that we to keep carrying our community along. So do well to join the Telegram group. That understood? So now we'll be looking at the next pair. For the next pair, we'll be looking at gold. I believe we have gold traders in the house. So we'll be looking at gold for now. Let's look at gold. So looking at the gold price action, first, what can we see? See this other block that has been mitigated. What do you see next? There was a change of character at this point. This was the last break of structure we had to the downside on gold. So looking at 4 hours on gold, we are still very, very much bullish. So this is the next other block we have on 4 hours. Let's look at the immediate price action on 1 hour because that's how we're going to see if we'll have our entry. The price is still far away from this zone. Price is still far away from this zone. So what are we going to look at as the immediate price action? At this point, you have your what? Change of character. You have a change of character. We have our what? Break of structure. At this point, we have another word. Break of structure. Here. You have another break of structure here. Another break here. So looking at good, there was this other block here, which led to the market pushing up. That this other block here was what caused what this strong reaction to the upside. That's how came about what this particular momentum to the upside. So after that, what was the next thing we can find on good? Where is the next other block? Where is the next other block? So this is the next other block we should be looking at for on good. Here is the next other block. We have what? All of this liquidity present to make this particular zone a valid zone for us to actually take our setup from. We have a fair value gap at this particular point, as you can also see. We have our FVG here. So with this, we have a buy order targeting at least a 1:3. Okay. You can possibly have 1:4 to, let's say, targeting this high. Okay. So these are good buyers, and we should be looking out for possible 1:5. I don't know if the readings are visible. Let me know. I'll also drop the coordinates on the free Telegram group. So do it to join the Telegram group. I will drop the coordinates. If maybe you want to see it better, here are the coordinates. So our entry is at 3354.46. Our stop loss is at 3344.81. Then our take profit is 3403.08. So that's our coordinate. I will still drop the screenshot on the Telegram group for maybe for those that be joining later, or for those that are not able to see the coordinates clear. So let's move over to the next setup. We'll be looking at USD JPY. USD JPY. Let's look at what USD JPY has for us for this week. Okay, so from for 2 weeks now, USD JPY has been bearish all through last week. There was no clear price action or no clear movement. The movement has just been sideways. So looking at USD JPY from 4 hours, let's look at the price action on 4 hours. So on 4 hours, after this high was taken out, and what led to that point, we had this nice order block that was here. Price came into this zone and what moved toward to the upside. Now, after this particular price action reacted from this zone, what was the next thing we were looking at for? We were looking at for this point to get what a good trade from. Having that what all of this was our liquidity and what for those that traded the price action on 1 hour. Let me open 1 hour so you get to see something on 1 hour, because we had something like a zone on 1 hour, and that was one thing that you get when you do a multi-time frame analysis. So on 1 hour, we will refine this all the way down to this on 1 hour. So on 1 hour, you will see that what you had a zone here, just what an inducement. So coming down to the 1 hour, this is what we have on 1 hour. We have all of this as what? We have all of this as our liquidity. This is our liquidity on 1 hour. This was our change of character. After that, we had a minor break of structure here. We had another break at this point to the downside. We had the last break here to the downside. We had this other block at this point. That was our other block. And what was my intent for last week? I had a bearish bias having what? This liquidity here to be taken out. The market should push into this other block and crash to the downside all the way down to this point. But what happened? We had what? A reversal all the way to the upside. And for now, we can see that what price is still respecting this new order block at this point here. So till we're able to break above this zone, that's when I will consider what USD JPY a bullish pair. But for now, we are still bearish. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting all of this liquidity to be taken out at this point. So this is the point I was expecting us to take a buy from. So for now, there is no entry on USD JPY till maybe further notice or till we get a clear direction. So what we'll be waiting for is that price should break above here. So if we have a break, if we should have a break above this point, then we will look for reasons to join to the upside. But if we don't and we push to the downside, then we'll look for reasons to look for possible buys on USD JPY. So that's what we have for USD JPY. But for today, I'll be expecting what the price action towards push to the downside because what we are bearish, except we'll break above this current high. Except we're able to take out this high, then that's when we'll turn what? We'll turn bullish on USD JPY. But for now, we are bearish, and this is my intent for USD JPY. I believe this is okay. So we'll be looking at the next pair we'll be looking at is GBP JPY. We'll be looking at GBP JPY, but we'll take EU maybe GU. So let's look at GBP JPY. All right. So let's go to the 4 hours. Looking at the 4 hours price action. We had this last break to the downside on 4 hours. What was I expecting on 4 hours? I was expecting price to return back to this zone, but we're not able to get to this zone because this was my inducement zone. This was my inducement zone. This was my inducement zone. And price took out this inducement. So now what is our bias on 1 hour? Let's look at the 1 hour price action on GJ. So on GJ, this high was taken out and the market turned what? The market turned bullish from bearish. What was the next order block we were expecting to see? This was the next order block we had, a very clean order block. Let's see if that is still valid. We have this breaker structure to the upside at this point. We have this other breaker structure at this point again to the upside. So where is the most recent price action? If we look at this price closely, we are having what? All of this liquidity at this point. So for now, I want to see price come back into this zone. This is the most recent price action I want to see. So this is where I want to see price coming back into to continue what the bullish intent. At this point, we have an inducement. So don't think this is the other block. This is the right other block. This is an inducement. So we want to see price come back into this zone and what continue to the upside. So let me put a buy order and send the screenshot to the channel. We'll be using 35 pips as our airshow. 32 is okay. So we'll be targeting 1:3. This is 1:3, but if we want to target the most recent high, this is this, but I'll prefer to go with the 1:3 because that's more realistic. So this is our entry for today. So we're waiting for this price to return all the way down to this zone for us to push price to the upside. Because looking at USD, looking at GBP, JPY, we have this liquidity still resting at the top here. Want price to take it out. Rather, will remain bullish to the upside. Then we want to see price take out this particular zone. These are targets, but realistic take profit. It's better we put our take profit before this liquidity high, this most recent high, just in case market gets to this point and wants to reverse because what can't tell. So it's better we put our take profit at this point. This is more better and more realistic. So let's look at we'll look at GU, EU, then I think I'm seeing NZD USD in the comment section. So maybe let's take NZD USD, NZD USD before any other one. Okay, so let's look at 4 hours price action first so that we'll understand our buyers for the day. Okay, so previously I was looking at, we had this break to the upside and I was looking at market respecting this zone, which that happened. Price was able to what come back into this zone and what retrace to the upside, giving me what another what other block at this point, another other block at this point, but market violated this other block. So let's look at the most current price action for now. If you look at this price action for now, we are at a supply zone. We are at a supply zone on the 4 hours time frame. We are at a supply zone. Look at this point. This is a supply zone, and if you notice, that's why you see the market is just ranging at this point. So coming from the 4 hours, we had what a break to the downside here, and market also took out what. Let me take this off. Market took out this entire what low at this point. So at this point, we are bearish on NZD USD. We are bearish on NZD USD. So let's look at the 1 hour entry confirmation. Let me take everything off so we have a clear chart. All right. So from the 1 hour, we had this break to the downside. We had another word break here to the downside. Now, a lot of persons will see this point here as what? As their other block. But this is wrong. In as much as you had what? Um You had a reaction to the downside. It doesn't validate the zone. This is what a liquidity high. The candle wicks are your liquidities. So if you look at this is what your liquidity. This is your liquidity. Validating what market towards push more to the upside. So that's your liquidity high. So what are you expecting on this particular pair now? This is what we want to see. To validate that we are still bearish, we want to see market what continue pushing to the downside from this point. So I want to see NZD USD continue pushing to the downside. Already we have what our liquidity resting here. Our liquidity is resting here. So I want to see this price action drop all the way down to this point. And if this is to sell, then JPY pairs we should be expecting to go more bullish on them. So this is what I want to see. And if you are to break above this point, then we should expect this price to rally all the way down to this is our first target. So, but for now, I'm still expecting more bearish momentum to the downside. There is no valid other block that I'm seeing here that should, because all of them has been mitigated. If you look at this point, this has been mitigated by this. Look at this has mitigated this particular other block. This point, there is no other block. So all I'm seeing here is what? All I'm seeing here is my liquidity resting at this point. So I want to see more sell side on NZD USD. So for NZD USD, I'm bearish on NZD USD. Is that okay? So that's my bias, and I also think that's what you're also seeing on NZD USD. If you're seeing something different, maybe you can also drop your opinion in the comment section. But from all indication and from technical perspective, NZD USD is bearish, except maybe there is a news. I've not looked at the news calendar for today. So except there is a news, okay. So we should be expecting more bearish intent on this. So let's look at EU. Then we'll look at GU. Think I will not look at Ethereum. We only looked at BTC. So looking at EU, we'll look at the 4 hours time frame. So looking at EU from the 4 hours time frame, what can we see? What can we see? Let's see. We're seeing a bearish price action on Euro USD. Euro USD. So Euro USD, this is our trading range. We have this range, and we still have another range here. So within this range, what is happening? Let's look at what is happening. At this point, we had this what change of character on 4 hours time frame. We had what this break of structure down here. So let's go down to the 1 hour to see the immediate price action now. All right. So looking at the current price action on the EU, there was a sweep of liquidity here. This candle. So we had what a change of character at this point. We had a change of character, and what price what reacted to the upside with this nice what momentum to the upside. Now giving us what external what break or structure to the upside. That was our break or structure. So where is our most recent order block or possible other block we should be looking out for price to come back into. We have this clear zone. I would prefer to work with this. I will consider this as what my inducement. This is my inducement. You can see we have what nice momentum from this zone. So this looks more better than taking trade from here. As much as we have a fair value gap, we also have a fair value gap below this one. So looking at where we'll be getting high probability trade from, this more preferable and more safer to give us a better trading result from. So um, we have this target. We have this target. So if this price is able to correct all the way down to this point, we should be able to push the price higher and better. Because if you look at EU, you see this is a line I marked on 4 hours. So this is like our major target we'll be looking out for. But you can't just except you want to swing your trade, but it's more better you go in with maybe if you want to go in with swing, you can maybe take 1:3 or 1:4. Then you take another position that is a swing trade, knowing fully well that the swing can correct back to your entry. So that is what I would advise. So looking at EU, want to see. Let's look at this. I want to see this. Okay, probably be let's let's look at 1:4. So looking at this, this is 1:4. So this is what we should have as our trade entry. So this is the price action for EU. So I'm bullish more on EU. I want to see this correction, the downside before what we'll take a buy to continue the price action. So let's look at GBP USD. GBP USD. GBP USD is very, very, very bullish. So let's look at 4 hours to actually see what the 4 hours is doing. So from the 4 hours price action, you can also see that what we also been what bearish. Okay, we had this sweep. We had this sweep at this point on 4 hours. Then we had a what market change of character at this point on 4 hours. We have this break of structure. That is the most visible price action I can see on 4 hours. So let's go down to the 1 hour price action to actually see what is happening on 1 hour. Let's look at the price action on 1 hour. So on 1 hour price action, I can see we had a break to this point. We had another break of structure here. So what? This was our last high that pushed the price down again. So we had a change of character here After having a change of character at that point, what did you see? The same thing we saw on EU is the same thing that's also displaying on GU too. This what nice momentum, this nice momentum breaking what to the upside. So after having that, what did we see next? There was a sweep of this high, transferring what this high to this one, giving us what a break of structure at this point to upside. So from this price action, we have a valid order block at this point, but price is far from this. Price is far from this. So let's look at something that it's more realistic for price to come back into. We have this break again to the upside. Sorry, excuse. So what do you have again? We have this nice order block here. We have this nice order block here. So what we want to see, where do we have our liquidity resting at this low. That's our liquidity resting there. So we have this, all of this as our liquidity. So we want to see price crash into this zone and we'll continue the price to the upside. If this price should come back to this point and we'll return to the upside, we have a whole long way to go on GU, because looking to the upside, we have all of these targets for price to continue to, except the price wants to continue to the bearish sentiment. So, but for now, the price is very, very much bullish. So we'll be looking out for what more bullish, um, more bullish buyers to the upside, and that's what we'll be looking at for more buys. So that is it for GU. Let's look at Ethereum. I think we skipped that after looking at BTC. You can also drop other pairs you want us to look at. Let's take a look at them. Okay. So looking at the most recent price action on 1 hour on Ethereum, they are very much bullish on Ethereum. So looking at this price action here, I think this is even kind of like far to actually even look at for. But let's just look at the most recent price action, what we can see on Ethereum to get a quick trade. So I think I can see a nice order block here. I can see this nice order block on Ethereum at this point. Let me see if all my confluences are in place to actually validate this trade. We have this breaker structure. We have this breaker structure at this point. And there's a sweep here, meaning we'll be targeting the next target on Ethereum. So looking at this price action, what do you want to see? If the market turns bearish, this is the next order block we want to look at for, because this market has already made use of this point. So what we have here is now what liquidity. We have our liquidity resting at this point. So we want to see price come back into this zone, continue to the upside. So that is our outlook for Ethereum. We've looked at EU, GU, NZD. Let's also take a look at AUD USD. AUD USD, because I think the only pair we've not seen a trade on is GU, and the trade looks very promising though. A USD card. We have like 10 minutes to go, so we can actually look at a USD card. All right. So looking at USD card, oh, we can see this. Sorry, this AUD. Sorry. So this was the other block, but market didn't get to it on 4 hours. And currently, market is reacting towards a supply zone. So let's look at it on 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, let's look at it on 1 hour to actually see what is happening on 1 hour. But the price looks very, very bullish. So on 1 hour price action, we had this break before the strong momentum to the downside. We have this, and we have this large sweep at this point. There was a change of character. This was a change of character at this point. And price has been bullish to the upside. So looking at the most recent price action, yeah, has been mitigated, but price is still responding to the upside. So if I'm to look at where to actually take a trade from, I'm actually not seeing any point of interest to actually make me take a valid trade. In as much as I have this fair value gap here, but if this fair value gap was able to maybe sweep this low, this retracement to the downside was able to sweep this low, then maybe break above this point, I would have actually loved to take my trade from here. But looking at this, there is no valid setup for me because all of this has been mitigated, and I actually want to see what a fair value gap validating my other block. So for AUD USD, I don't have a setup. All I'm seeing here is what liquidity. All I see is liquidity resting. So until I get a clear setup, only then I'll be able to what, actually look for possible trade opportunities. So for now, there is no clear zone to actually take my trade from because they've all been what mitigated. I think this is the only zone that has not been mitigated. And for the fact that we have this zone lying below here, this turns towards my inducement. So for now, there is no trade opportunity on AUD. Now, looking at AUD, this market is still trying to react to this supply zone here, in as much as we are able to what, break above this supply. So, but I think what I'm seeing here is already what a sweep of liquidity above this high, because sometimes the market can actually what sweep the high before what continue to the downside. So let's look at if we can get a bearish intent. Let me take out this line. So actually look at that. So looking at this, oh, did we have a change of character? Let me see if there was a body close. Okay, we have a change of character at this point. Let me go down to 30 minutes to see if we actually get a better result from this trade. So from 30 minutes, this is what we can see. 30 minutes. So I think this is why we are still having this bearish intent on this particular setup. Please a second. Okay, so looking at the 30 minutes price action, you can see we have a change of character at this point. And after having that change of character, before having that change of character, there was a sweep of our supply zone. So we'll be more bearish. We'll be looking at for bearish intent um, AUD, for AUD USD. So we want to see this price continue to the downside, but I don't like this accumulation that is happening here. So it's better we stay out because price is not actually selling to the downside and it's not actually what moving to the upside, meaning that what there is no clear direction. The market is ranging. Yeah, the market is ranging. So it's better to stay out because assuming we took this trade, let's say we're able to get it at this point, the market will have come back to take us out at break even. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. If we get to see any opportunity, um, I'll also share it on the community. So please do well to join the free Telegram channel. The link is in our comment section, is pinned. So just check the first comment on the comment section. You will see the link to the Telegram group and make sure that what you join so you don't miss out on any trade opportunity. So let's look at the USD card. I think I saw someone drop USD card on the comment section. So let's look at USD card. I think we'll be running off with that for today. Any other setup that I'm able to get, I will also share with the community. So make sure you're on the community. Okay, so first we'll look at 4 hours. So looking at the 4 hours, from the 4 hours, what can we see? We have this break. Um, is it for 4 hours? So let's look at what's actually happening on the 1 hour time frame. So looking at the 1 hour, there is no clear direction, but I can see this zone. I can see this zone, but there is no fair value gap. So I will not want to take my trade from a zone without a fair value gap. But if you look at that zone, that gave us what? A break of structure to the downside after we had what? A change of character to the downside. So this is our liquidity. This is our liquidity, and this is the possible zone we should be expecting a reversal from. But I actually don't like taking my trade from zones with exhaustion candles. That's it. I actually want to see momentum from my zone. I actually love trading from a strong momentum zones with fair value gap. That's a FVG. So for me, this is not a valid zone. I will see this as what my I will see this as my liquidity. I will see it as liquidity, but possibly price can react from this zone, no doubt. And if I'm to take a trade from this particular point, what I want to look at first is I want to see my change of character with some let me say momentum on the 15 minutes or 30 minutes, giving me a confirmation to actually take this trade. But using aggressive entry or putting a buy limit, no, I won't do that. But generally, overall, looking at the price action, this is bearish, and we want to see that price continue all the way down, except we're able to take out this high, and if we take out this high, I can possibly look for maybe um, a confirmation on the 30 minutes time frame if I don't see it on 1 hour to take the price all the way down to this one. But possibly this zone will be taken out. This zone will be taken out because all of what I'm seeing here, like these are liquidities. So I actually won't like to look for sales. The only thing will make me take a sell position or look for possible size. If you're able to get a possible entry confirmation, so that's what we'll look at for. But for now, um, general our overall view the market is bearish, but I'm not seeing a clear intent or possible entry with what I take or with what I trade with. So I don't want to get into this position. But if I'm able to see a break above this point, I want to take a buy. I want to take a buy because these are liquidity and I want price to take them all out. So that is it for today. Thank you for tuning in and see you again next week Monday, same time. Please do well towards share the channel with your friends, loved ones, and family. Let's grow together and let's make money together. The same time next week Monday. See you again. Yeah. But for now, bye. All right. Take care. Bye. Thank you for tuning in for today.